sublimation. What is sublimation? Directly a solid when it converts into vapor without passing to liquid state. It's called sublimation. Okay, as I told you. But now at the same time, when you reverse this process of boiling back into liquid, vapor is converting into liquid. तो क्या हो जाएगा? इसको क्या बोलेंगे? Condensation. Yes or no? और ये जब इसको कन्वर्ट करते हैं लिक्विड को सॉलिड में, तो इसको क्या बोलेंगे? फ्रीजिंग। Yes or no? Freezing. Sir, I am freezing. कनाडा में टेम्परेचर -6 डिग्री सेल्सियस चल रहा है, तो फ्रीज हो गया। बात ऑफ कोर्स हीटर है, इसीलिए कुछ ये नहीं है, पर ये टेम्परेचर -6, -12, -20 चला गया, पीपल दे से दिस बाहर जाने का बहुत डिफिकल्ट। ओके, we see when the temperature is high, so we say that we are burning. Right, अभी जैसे अभी यहाँ पे it's like a furnace we can say outside. Okay, तो वो अपना now what is important over here? There is a process called evaporation. What is evaporation? Evaporation is nothing but what? Evaporation is a process of escaping of a liquid or liquid molecules layer by layer at any temperature. बस evaporation क्या है? It's like for example अगर आपने for example एक ग्लास में पानी रखा है, ठीक है? ये मॉलिक्यूल जो सरफेस पे है, क्या होगा? They are having more kinetic energy than the molecules which are below. तो ये लोग क्या करते हैं? एनर्जी लेते हैं और एस्केप करते हैं बाहर। एक ही बता रही, ये भी बाहर चला गया, मैंने छूट के इन लोगों जो फोर्सेस है ब्रेक करके चला गया। थोड़ी देर के बाद ये लेवल नीचे आया, फिर और थोड़ा वेट करो, फिर ये भी लेवल नीचे, धीरे धीरे क्या होगा? ये पानी का लेवल नीचे नीचे चलता है और थोड़ी देर के बाद पूरा वेसल क्या हो जाएगा? चिल्ड्रन, एम्प्टी। बट दिस प्रोसेस इज स्लो प्रोसेस, क्योंकि लेयर बाय लेयर चलता है, सरफेस बाय सरफेस चलता है, बिकॉज़ देयर इज नो न्यू हीट, बिकॉज़ ये नॉर्मल रूम टेम्परेचर। लाइक सपोज यू put some water in your pot, what actually happens? It absorbs water, comes to the brim, and finally what? Slowly over the period of time it evaporates, पूरा वो फट के सूख जाता है, राइट ना? और नीचे जो प्लेट रखा है आपने, उसमें भी पानी पहले रहता है, वो भी सूख जाता है ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, विद 1 or 2 days। समर में तो और जल्दी निकलेगा, क्यों? क्योंकि वो क्या होगा? पानी थोड़ा सा एब्सॉर्ब होगा अंदर मड में, और रिमेनिंग पानी जो है ना धीरे धीरे इवेपोरेट होगा। दिस प्रोसेस ऑफ इवेपोरेशन okay depends upon certain factors. What are the factors over here? The first factor is the surface area, because it is a surface phenomenon. The surface के ऊपर depend करता है। Like suppose mommy gives you a cup of tea or coffee or milk, ठीक है? यहाँ पे and it's hot, sizzling hot inside. Now you want to drink it. तुम ड्रिंक करने का कोशिश करो, मुंह जल जाएगा। क्यों? ये क्यों मुंह जल जा रहे हैं? क्योंकि it's very hot. But you want to go to your school. स्कूल यहाँ पे, बिल्कुल स्कूल इधर, जल्दी तुमको पीना है। What you can do? This tea or coffee you put in the saucer. तो saucer में जैसे डालेंगे आप, ठीक है? तो क्या हो जाएगा? This particular molecules acquire more surface area. Yes or no? And when they acquire more surface area, they evaporate faster. Then you can drink. तो जब आप पिएंगे तो आपका मुंह चलेगा नहीं, ये सब आपको वैसे के वैसे उनमें तो लाभ हो जाते हैं. ये surface area का concept. Likewise, if you want to actually what reduce the temperature, तो मैगी जैसे आपको बोल में मिला, it's very hot. आप क्या थोड़ा बड़ा ये ले लो प्लेट, उसमें मैगी को ट्रांसफर करें. उसका जो रसा है, ग्रेवी है, because that rasa itself is very much hot. Maggi may be very much warmer, but that gravy is very much, hot and spicy. तो आपको डायरेक्टली नहीं, तो आप क्या करना है, प्लेट में everyday life situation. Because second is that it also depends upon what? The humidity. If it is humid, if there are moistures over here, so our clothes they do not get dry faster over here, right now. जो clothes है, ये अच्छी तरह dry नहीं होगा, right? अभी जो भी clothes है, fabric, जब spring में डालते हैं, क्या हो जाता है? ये जो clothes है, they have to be actually what? What happens? It evaporates, but because of humidity, again they are sent back, or maybe the evaporation is reduced. Because only moisture is there in the atmosphere. So higher the humidity, lower the evaporation. And the clothes do not dry quickly. Likewise, surface area. अगर आप clothes ऐसे, for example, just squeeze करके, for example, you try to put in the string, what will happen? They will not dry easily. But वही अगर आप spread out करके डालेंगे, ठीक है ना? तो more surface area for the fiber, more evaporation. The clothes will dry quickly. Like your uniform. तुमको सुबह 8 बजे निकलना है स्कूल के, and your uniform is wet, right? Why? आपने ऐसा immediately 7 o'clock you realize. So you put that you spread out that uniform in this manner. Within by 7:30 or 7:35, 40, you will say almost it has become dry, provided it's this kind of weather is there. Or of course, you will press other things. Right? Okay, this humidity. Third is velocity of wind. Right now? इधर ये भी कर सकते हैं, जैसे ये टी अगर आपको सॉसर में पीना है या इसमें भी पीना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? Velocity, you have to keep, for example, this saucer, you say, sir, still it is hot. क्या करना है? On the fan with a very great force, yes or no? ठीक है? ये फैन है suppose. High speed में ये फैन रोटेट हो. तो इसका जो weather, इसका जो for example wind का जो velocity है या air का velocity है, इसकी वो जल्दी चलती है. ऐसा रखो. And then the upper layer, which is hot, will go on, which is having more kinetic energy. And the lower layer of that tea, or the second layer, is having lesser kinetic energy. So it is actually become a little bit warmer. Or we can say we can eat it, or we can drink that. What is a cup of coffee? Will be lost. You get surface area. Like in other words, at the same time, temperature. Higher the temperature, higher the velocity. Higher the evaporation. So in summer, okay, evaporation is more. In summer, evaporation is more. In winter, evaporation is less. Because humidity is more, moisture is more. So winter evaporation less. Yes, sir. All right. Okay, so these are some of the factors which are actually what affect the evaporation. Likewise, in summer, we are advised to wear cotton clothes. क्यों? Because cotton क्या करेगा? Cotton is actually what having that if this is for example a fabric having small holes, and when you are wearing it, what happens? It actually absorbs the sweat, and through these holes, the sweat evaporates. And then evaporation provides cooling effect. Am I right or not? That's why evaporation is what? Evaporation is endothermic process. यानी जब भी तुम actually what? यानी आपको body से sweat निकलेगा, तो you are under the fan. What will happen? You feel cooler. That's why when you come from outside, you are on the fan and you find that you are already sweating. And just sit under the fan, you feel nice. No need of AC that time. ठीक है, fan तेज करके तो थोड़ी देर बैठो, you find that cooling. Likewise, whenever a person comes out, okay, from the bath, suppose, तो ये जो droplets of water है या from swimming pool, ये जो droplets of water उसके सर पे है या साइड में है, हैंड में है, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? For example, when he actually comes out and the fan is at a great speed, क्या हो जाएगा? He feels colder. That is, he starts shivering. Immediately you off the fan. Why? Because ये जो body में जो sweat, the water droplets है, what happens? They take the heat of the body and they start evaporating. So the whole body becomes at a lower temperature. जिसको अपना blood pressure कम करना है, ठंडे पानी से नहाओ. Immediately blood pressure low. Remember, ठंडा पानी क्या करेगा? उसका जो टेम्परेचर बॉडी का कम कर देगा. तो सर से आप जल्दी नहा देंगे तो ब्लड प्रेशर कम करेगा. बिकॉज़ बॉडी का टेम्परेचर डिसाइड करेगा प्रेशर. You know, okay? ये इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है. जब भी तुम ज्यादा एंजाइटी हो गया, नहा लो सीधे. एंजाइटी कम. या फॉर एग्जांपल आपका जो प्रेशर है, बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस है, स्ट्रेन है. Okay? That's why in summer we actually want take bath 2 times. Because early morning, अभी तुम शाम को जाओगे, of course you are sitting in AC, but while going, you feel so very much warm. Then you say, I will take bath again. Why? Because our whole body temperature has risen. ये अपना evaporation process वो देखो दिखा है. Evaporation, ठीक है ना? अब हम लोग आते हैं one more point. Okay? ये evaporation का किधर लिखा है? Yeah. Please read out.
Evaporation. Water when left uncovered slowly changes into vapor. Wet clothes dry up. How? Particles of matter are always moving and are never at rest. At a given temperature in any gas, liquid or solid, there are particles with different amounts of kinetic energy. In the case of liquids, a small fraction of particles at the surface having high kinetic energy is able to break away from the process of attraction of the other particles and hence convert it into vapor. This phenomenon of a change of a liquid into vapors at any temperature between its boiling point is called evaporation. Factors affecting evaporation. The rate of evaporation increases with an increase of surface area. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. When the surface area is increased, the rate of evaporation increases. For example, while putting clothes for drying up, we spread them out. An increase of temperature. With the increase of temperature, more number of particles get enough kinetic energy to go into the vapor state. A decrease in humidity. Humidity is the amount of water vapor present in air.
Yes.
Air around us cannot hold more than a definite amount of water vapor at a given temperature. If the amount of water in air is already high, the rate of evaporation decreases. An increase in wind speed. Clothes dry faster on a windy day. With the increase in wind speed, the particles of water vapor move away, decreasing the amount of water vapor in the surrounding. Evaporation causes cooling. In an open vessel, the liquid keeps on evaporating. The particles of liquid absorb energy from surroundings to regain the energy lost in evaporation. This absorption of energy from the surroundings makes the surroundings cool. When you pour some acetone nail polish remover on your palm, the particles gain energy from your palm or surroundings and evaporate, causing the palm to feel cool. After a hot sunny day, because the large latent heat of vaporization of water helps to cool the hot surface. We wear cotton clothes in summer. During summer, we perspire more because of the mechanism of our body which keeps us cool. During evaporation, the particles on the surface of the liquid gain energy from surroundings or body surface and change into vapor. The heat energy equal to the latent heat of vaporization is absorbed from the body, leaving the body cool. Cotton, being a good absorber of water, helps in absorbing the sweat and exposing it to the atmosphere for easy evaporation. We see water droplets on the outer surface of a glass containing ice cold water. The water vapor present in air on coming in contact with the cold glass of water loses energy and gets converted to liquid state, which we see as water droplets.
बस और सुनो some application of evaporation यहाँ पे दी ओ क्या हो गया दिख रहा है आपको सबको evaporation का this particular technique is there किधर है यहाँ पे इसको स्क्रीन बड़ा कर देते हैं राइट ना यहाँ पे देखो थोड़ा साउंड बढ़ा ये देखो evaporation ये अलग एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं okay drop it back evaporation वही चीज अपना वाटर साइकिल है ना मतलब evaporation this is a simple not dry ठीक है तो ये थोड़ी सी शॉर्ट वीडियो तो 2 मिनट है तो you will utilize it. Okay, now today we have to go for our समझ में आया अब क्या करेंगे हम लोग क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर पे जाएंगे बट बिफोर वी गो फॉर द क्वेश्चंस एक्टिविटी बेस अब एक्टिविटी कैसे करेंगे एक्टिविटी 1.1 आप लोग ये रीड करते हैं बस एक्टिविटी 1.2 यू बोथ विल गो एक्टिविटी 1.3 कितना एक्टिविटी है वहां पे 1.3 का दो एक्टिविटी के एक ही है दो तो यू विल गो फॉर 2 1.4 1.5 फिर 1.6 1.7 1.8 कितने तक है बस 11 तक ऐसे चलता है मार्क योर activity 1.1 1.2 1.3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 इनके तीन एक्टिविटी चलो स्टार्ट ये एक्टिविटी क्या दर्शा रहे हैं जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इज अप्लाइड टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स रिमेंबर चलो पढ़िए then we'll go for question and answer because then only topic will get over चलिए पढ़िए क्या करना है आपको एम आपको पढ़ना है apparatus आपको पढ़ना है फिर प्रोसीजर आपको पढ़ना है एंड कंक्लूजन आपको पढ़ना है ऑब्जर्वेशन you decide among yourselves ठीक है I'll give you 2 minutes आप क्या पढ़ेंगे वो क्या पढ़ेंगे एंड जो सिंगल है वो क्या करेंगे जब तुम लोग तीन हो ठीक है game apparatus and she will read the procedure. हाँ, अभी देखो 1.1, 1.2 पूरा, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 1.10, 1.1. Alright, क्योंकि she will be alone, so कुछ ज़्यादा कर सकते. तो तुम क्या करोगे? ये apparatus और ये procedure, okay? Then again you interchange. चलो start करें, चलो 1.1, then you will get the idea. कुछ भी पढ़ना है चलेगा, सबको तो पढ़ना ही है. वो चलो बस ये पढ़िए.
To show that matter is made up of particles.
Yes, matter is made up of particles. This is the aim. चलो. Then
Apparatus and chemicals. 100 ml of water, salt, sugar, glass rod and a beaker. Procedure. Fill half the beaker with water and mark the level of water. Dissolve some salt or sugar with the help of a glass rod. Observation. We observe no change in the water level. Conclusion. We conclude that the matter is made up of particles. The salt or sugar has now spread throughout water, occupying intermolecular spaces between water molecules.
next.
Aim. To show that particles of matter are small. Apparatus and chemicals. 5 beakers, 2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate water. Procedure. Take 2-3 crystals of potassium permanganate and dissolve them in 100 ml of water. Take out approximately 10 ml of this solution and put it into 90 ml of clear water. Take out 10 ml of this solution and put into another 90 ml of clear water. Keep diluting the solution like this 5 times. Observation. We observe that just a few crystals of potassium permanganate colored a large amount of water.
Yes.
Conclusion. So we conclude that there are millions of tiny
Yes. Go
particles.
on changing that. Okay, and you find it becomes faded, faded. That means the particles are becoming smaller and smaller. Therefore, matter is made up of particles.
In just one crystal of potassium permanganate, which keep on dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles.
बोलिए. Next one. इसका टर्न आ गया.
Aim to show that particles of matter are continuously moving.
Apparatus and chemicals. Insane state matching.
Procedure. Put the insane stick in corner of a line line table.
Observation. We get this kind of instance even though we are sitting far away from it.
Conclusion. This is because particles of matter are continuously moving.
Yes.
Aim. To show that particles of matter are continuously moving.
2 beakers, water, drop of apparatus. 2 beakers, water, drop of blue or red ink, honey.
Procedure. You take glasses/beakers, fill with water. Put a drop of blue or red ink slowly and carefully along the sides of the first beaker and again the same way. Second beaker. Leave them undisturbed in your house or in a corner of the class.
Observation. Particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they possess what we call kinetic energy. So the water in the first beaker gets colored blue or red, and the honey in the second beaker spreads through the bulk of water in the beaker.
Conclusion. This shows that particles of matter are continuously moving. Particles of matter intermix on their own with each other. So they do so by getting into the spaces between the particles. This intermixing of particles of 2 different types of matter in their own is called diffusion, or leading diffusion becomes faster.
Yes.
Activity 1.4. Aim. To show that particles of matter are continuously moving and their movement increases with increase in temperature.
Apparatus and chemicals. A crystal of copper sulfate or potassium permanganate. A glass of hot water and a glass of cold water.
Procedure. Drop a crystal of copper sulfate into a glass of hot water and a crystal of potassium permanganate into a glass of cold water. Not stir solution. Allow the crystals to settle at the bottom.
Observation. Particles of matter are continuously moving and their movement increases with increase in temperature. Particles possess kinetic energy which increases as the temperature increases. Particles of matter intermix. This is called diffusion, which increases with temperature. So, particles of copper separate
Hmm.
in the beaker of hot water and the color of the water becomes blue at once. While in the cold water, the beaker potassium permanganate diffused very slowly.
Conclusion. Particles of matter are continuously moving and their movement increases as they increase in temperature.
Activity 1.5a aim to show that particles of matter attract each other. Procedure. Take this game in the field, make 4 groups and form unit chains as suggested. The first group
Yes.
should hold each other from the back and lock arms like beaver dancers. The
Yeah.
second group should hold hands to form a human chain. The
Hmm.
third group should form a chain by touching each other with only their fingertips. Now, the fourth group of students should run around and try to break the third human chain, one by one, into as many small groups as possible.
Hmm.
Observation. If we consider each student as a particle of matter, then particles of matter have force acting between them.
Hmm.
This force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another. We were unable to break the first chain easily. We were able to break the second chain easily, and the third chain was broken with not much effort.
Yes.
Conclusion. Particles of matter attract each other.
Hmm.
Activity 1.5 aim to show that particles of matter attract each other.
Hmm.
Apparatus and chemicals. Iron plate, a piece of chalk, and a rubber band.
Hmm.
Procedure. Try breaking them by hammering, cutting, or straining them.
Stretching.
Observation. It is very difficult to separate the particles of iron.
Hmm.
Particles of matter have force acting between them. This force keeps the particle together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another. It was easy to break a piece of chalk, and we were easily broke. We very easily broke the rubber band by
Hmm.
stretching it to a great extent beyond its elasticity.
Elasticity.
Conclusion. Particles of matter attract each
हाँ, particles of matter attract. ये देखो ये substance है, ये one piece, one single tight piece. What is that? Single tight piece means the particles are attracting each other. ये जो देखने से वो separate नहीं होगा. You have to supply energy. When you supply energy, then only they will break. That is the force of attraction between the particles. चलो, पढ़िए.
Activities 1.5c
Hmm.
aim to show that particles of matter attract each other.
Hmm.
Materials required. Running water.
Procedure. Opening a water tap, try breaking the stream of water with your fingers.
Observation. It is not possible to separate the particles of water. Hence, we at the stream of water remaining together. Particles of matter have forces acting between them. This force keeps the particles together.
Hmm.
The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another.
Conclusion. Particles of matter attract each other.
पढ़िए.
Activity 1.6 aim to show that matter exists in a solid state.
Materials required. A pen, a book, a needle, and a piece of wooden stick.
Procedure. Sketch the shape of the above articles in a notebook by moving the pen around them.
Hmm.
Observation. We observe that all these have a different shape, distinct boundaries, and fixed volume. If you hammer, pull, or drop them, they are likely to change their shape. If you compress them, they have negligible compressibility. They have a tendency to maintain their shape, when subjected to outside force, and may break under force if it is difficult to change their shape, so they are rigid.
Conclusion. Solid matter has a definite shape, distinct boundaries, and a fixed volume. They may break under force, but it is difficult to change their shape, so they are rigid.
Hmm.
Activity 1.1 aim to show that matter exists in a liquid state. Apparatus and chemicals, water, cooking oil, milk, juice, a cold drink, containers of different shapes, measuring selected.
Yes.
Procedure. Put the 50 ml mark on these containers, measure 50 ml of any one liquid and transfer it into different containers one by one. Observation. We observe liquids have no fixed shape but have fixed volume. They make up the shape of the container in which they are kept. Liquids flow and change their shape, so they are not rigid and can be called fluid. Conclusion. This shows that matter exists in a liquid shape. Activity 1.8 aim to show that matter exists in a gaseous state. Apparatus 300 ml syringes, rubber cords. Procedure. Take 300 ml syringes and close their nozzles by rubber corks. Remove the pistons from all syringes, leaving one syringe untouched. Fill water in the second and pieces of chalk in the third. Insert the pistons back into the syringes. You may apply some Vaseline on the pistons before inserting them into syringes for this smooth movement. Now try to compress the contents by pushing the piston in each cylinder. Observation. We observe that the gases are highly compressible due to their high compressibility. Large volumes of gases can be compressed into a small
It's
cylinder.
self-explanatory kind of, for example, activity. This you can do at home also, depending upon whether the things are available or not. Okay? Now, पढ़ लिया आपने? पूरा पढ़ लिया?
And transport it easily. Hence, we would compress the gas in the first syringe easily. We were able to compress the water in the second syringe with a little force, but it was not easy to compress
Yes,
the
because
chocolate
water
juice.
cannot be actually compressed to that extent. Why? Because the cap which was actually held up over there comes out. ओके जैसे कभी कभी प्रेशर लिक्विड पे जाता है और आपने कैप कुछ किया तो इमीडिएटली कैप को थ्रो करके बाहर है तो लिक्विड कैन नॉट आल्सो बी कंप्रेस्ड लाइक अ चॉक पार्टिकल्स हम जैसे मुझे कंप्रेस करना है कंप्रेस करके अंदर इतना स्टफी है कि वो अंदर जा ही नहीं पा रहा सर अंदर कुछ जगह है ही नहीं कहाँ जाएंगे दैट इज द मीनिंग ओके बिफोर वी एक्चुअली एंटर दिस लेक्चर एक चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेंसिबल हीट एंड लैटेंट हीट बुक में एक वर्ड आया लैटेंट हीट ठीक है तो लैटेंट हीट और एक हीट है व्हिच इज कॉल्ड सेंसिबल हीट तो पहले ये वीडियो देख लो एंड देन विल डिस्कस आउट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास ये दोनों और रिमेनिंग एक्टिविटी ठीक है ना चिल्ड्रन ये देखिए sensible latent heat or sensible heat basic science is the video ice sensible what sensible heat or एक यहाँ तक सेंसिबल हीट है बिकॉज टेम्परेचर राइज होता जा रहा है -30 -29 -28 ओके देन यहाँ पे आके क्या हो जाएगा लेट से 0 हो जाएगा तो आइस का टेम्परेचर क्या है ये -30 से क्या हो रहा है तो उसका फेस चेंज नहीं हो रहा आइस रिमेन्स आइस ओनली राइट ना बट एट 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस क्या हो जाएगा फेस में एक मिनट एक हाँ ये हाँ यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है 2 से 3 क्या टेम्परेचर सेम ही रह रहा है ना बट स्लोली एंड स्टडीली द आइस इज कन्वर्टिंग इनटू लिक्विड और जैसे ये सब पूरा आइस लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट हो गया देन इमीडिएटली टेम्परेचर विल राइज ये देखो 100 that this is the freeze this is the melting point of ice this is the boiling point of ice तो जब ये फ्लैट कर्व आ रहा है तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे लैटेंट हीट ये देखो लैटेंट हीट यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है फेज चेंज हो रहा है टेम्परेचर कांस्टेंट बट यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर चेंज हो रहा है बट फेज इज रिमेनिंग सेम फेज का मतलब है स्टेट सॉलिड ये अभी आगे हम लोग देखेंगे दिस जस्ट टू शो यू कि लैटेंट हीट वर्ड आ गया तो यू शुड नॉट फील दैट अरे सर ये हम लोग ने किया नहीं ये अपने वीडियो में okay thank you very much homework will be to refer this part and next time I'll give you one test ठीक है on this whatever you have done ये fill in the blanks question from the NCERT को खोल के ठीक है तो तुम लोगों को एक बार पढ़ के आना है और क्या करना है ये NCERT का क्वेश्चन है ना उसको खाली एक बार रीड थ्रू करके आए ऑलराइट थैंक यू because nowadays we have to go for hybrid kind of teaching.